What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another video. And in today's video, we're going to keep it short and straight to the point. Today we're going to be talking about how I managed to get not just one but two car loans in the same day, as a single member LLC. And I've been in business. For those of you that don't know my background, I've been in business now. I own a pest control business, Preferred Pest Management. I've owned this business for going on 3 years now, and I get a lot of questions, and of course I had these questions as well whenever I was opening my business, or a year or two into my business. I was like, how would I go about getting a mortgage or a auto loan or whatever the case may be as a self-employed person? Because of course, until you get to a larger scale, you are not going to be necessarily cutting yourself a check with as a W-2 employee. I am about to be doing that this year. However, as we're filing as an S corporation. Different video for a different day, but to keep it short and simple for you guys that are like me up until going into 2020, later 23 into 24, you're classified as just a self-employed. Maybe you opened up an LLC and you're a single member LLC because you have no employees or whatever the case may be, and you're wondering how can I go about getting a car loan? So one way that you can go about doing this, let's say, a lot of, not just mortgage companies, but even for auto loans, a lot of times they're going to want to know that how long you've been in business. So let's say you just opened your business and you've been in business for less than a year, for example. They are going to want to see a lot of times, unless if your credit is just outstanding, we're talking like 800 plus, they're going to want to see bank statements from not just your personal accounts, but your business checking account. So again, like I always suggest, whenever you first open up your business, you should open a business checking account. It's super easy to do. All you have to do is, go to the IRS website and, get yourself an EIN set up. It's totally free. Anyone that tries to charge you to do this is scamming you. It's totally free and easy to do. They'll send you an email with that EIN, and then you would use that EIN to create your business checking account, as well as, your social security number and all that good stuff, of course, like any other banking account. And then boom, you're open, you're in business. You can now separate your business expenses from your personal expenses. So they're going to want to see as many of those statements as possible, and then that in a combination with what your personal credit is, they will determine if you qualify for a loan. So obviously, this can be very difficult if let's say you're only 2-3 months into business, less than 90 days you're only in business. And let's say, of course, for the most part, business is going to start off slow, right? You're not going to be really turning a profit. If so, we of course turn profit after about 30 to 60 days. But even if you are, your profit is so little that a lot of times banks aren't going to be willing to take a risk, especially in the economic conditions we're in right now, where we're in the middle of a recession. The money printers are turned off, all of that good stuff. It makes it a little bit tougher to get approved, and even if you are getting approved, you're probably going to see some higher percentage due to the Fed raising interest rates and whatnot. So that will be very difficult. It's going to be more difficult for those of you that are like just starting. Even me, when we bought my first truck, not the truck you see in the thumbnail of this video, that's the truck we actually just purchased, one of the two vehicles we purchased. My very first truck, we actually had to use my wife's income because I literally had just lost my job. And I had no proof of income because, I had to have a truck before I could start servicing homes. I had no truck at that moment, so I had to use my wife's income. So if you have a spouse and, you all, of course, have your incomes together and everything, and your other spouse works, it'll be much easier because you can use your spouse's income. You'll use, their name and all that stuff to get the loan and all of that. That makes it 100 times easier. For those of you that don't have that, you're a single person and you're starting this business, the best route for you is going to be to have a large down payment saved up. So I know this can be difficult, right? That kind of, is defeating the purpose to a certain degree of trying to go get a loan is you don't have the money to begin with. But let's say, and another thing is you're going to have to keep it reasonable with this first purchase. You're not going to be able to go buy a $50,000 to $100,000 truck or car, SUV, whenever you got no proof of income, right? So you're going to have to take baby steps in the beginning, and then within, a year or less, then you can trade that car in. You have more down payment saved up. You can start working your way up, essentially, at least if you want to do it the smart way, which is what we're all about on this channel. There's other ways of doing it, but I'm telling you, what I see as the smart way ultimately. And let's say you're going to buy a $20,000 vehicle. And for those of you that are going to hop on me and say, oh, where am I going to find a good $20,000 vehicle? I just bought two. Both were under $21,000. One was, what was it? Pretty much 19,000 something or 20,500. And the other one was also like $21,000. They both came out to about $40,000. And they had both of them right at 70,000 miles or less. One was a 2021, the other was a 2019. So again, they are out there. You just have to be willing to go look for them. But let's say, back to the example, you're going to get a $20,000 vehicle. And for that, you're probably going to need at least $2,000 down at the minimum. That's going to give you about a 10% down payment before taxes, title, all those fees that, you have to do whenever you buy a vehicle. That will show the bank that, hey, this person, while they may not have a lot in terms of, their business is brand new, they're smart enough to at least have, this little chunk of money, $2,000, to put down on this loan. That's a 10% down payment. It's going to look better than if you walked in there trying to put no money down, $500 down. If you're trying to put $500 down versus $2,000, you got 4 times the money saved up as this other guy who's, in the same situation. Who's going to be more likely to get approved? Obviously, the guy that's already got the $2,000 in hand that the bank, is getting from day one, essentially. You got to think like a bank, essentially, from a risk perspective. Would you lend money to you, a guy that has no track record as a business owner, who has no money to put down or very, very little money to put down, or the guy that, he may not have much of a record in terms of business yet, but he's at least got a couple $1,000s to put down on this deal, his credit's good, all that good stuff. You just got to think like a bank at the end of the day. So like I said, it's going to be more tough those first few months specifically. But once you start stacking up bank statements, because the longer you're in business, of course, the more bank statements you're going to have, the more money you're going to have coming in from your business. A bank is going to be more and more likely to lend you money, not just for vehicles, but of course, houses, investment properties, a bunch of other stuff in the future. And then there is another route which I wanted to show you guys. I don't necessarily like this route, especially for buying a vehicle. This is, in my opinion, more so something that you would use for business expenses, which I believe you even have to sign a document on here saying it is for business, which of course, if you're buying a vehicle and you need the vehicle for business, you're not really lying. But it's not an ideal way of going about it. For those of you that do use Stripe, or QuickBooks also offers this as well, because they do the whole, merchant services as well. You can go into your Stripe profile. This updates pretty much every few weeks. Like just a couple weeks ago, this was offering me like $25,000. Now all of a sudden it's offering me like $16,000 and change. What you do is you would go into more, and then you go into the capital setting, and then from there they have an offer there waiting for you. You can even toggle around with this and play around and figure out how much money you're going to need. This could also act as your down payment, as we were referring to just a little bit ago. Say you want to put, say you got only $500 to $1,000, but you want to put a good little down payment down. You could put, say $2,000 additional, $5,000, whatever. The main thing you're going to want to pay attention to is the repayment rate, the 60-day minimum, your fixed fee. That's the good thing I do like about these, is it's just a fixed fee. There's no accruing interest. There's just a one-time fee. It, of course, has gone up a lot with the increase of the Federal Reserve interest rate increases. This used to be around 6%. Now it looks like it's upwards of, give or take, 12%. So something you're going to want to play around. And then, of course, you have your total amount the most important thing is how much are they taking from your cash flow, in my opinion. When I take these loans, I never want to go over 5%. Just because, you start getting north of, 10%, you're going to really start taking that money out of your business. And then, of course, your 60-day minimum, you usually don't have to worry about that as long as, of course, your business is growing or at least maintaining, because they do this based on kind of like your lowest month, essentially, and what they think you can afford. There's a lot of risk analysis that goes into that. So this you usually don't have to worry about. This is the most important number right here. For me, for example, for my rule of 5%, that means I could take approximately $4,000 to $4,200, and I would be just fine from my rule. Just because, they'll let you take, say, $16,600 here, doesn't mean you should. They're going to take 20% out of every transaction. So for every $100 you sell through the Stripe platform, they're going to take $20 out of it. Every $1,000, they're going to take $200, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, you're increasing your 60-day minimum tremendously. So, like I said, in my opinion, that's not the most ideal way of going about doing it. Maybe if, you need a down payment or something like that, that is a better route. $2,000, you're looking at, about $100 a month, and of course that'd be paid off relatively quickly was your plan. This is kind of a worst case scenario in my opinion. The only other option, of course, is wait as long as you can, stay in business, grow your business. Again, we've been in business now going on. This is our, technically speaking, our 4th year because we opened near the end of 2020. So they're counting 2020, 2021, 2022, and now we're in 2023. So they're counting this as like our 4th year in business. When I told them that we've been in business since 2020, all they really did was ask me. I called over the phone just to ask questions because I never got a loan before, a auto loan, up until this past week. And I was just like, hey, I just want to ask some questions before you all run my credit, see if it's even worth the inquiries, all that. And they just asked me, how long have you been in business? I was like, well, since 2020. So they were like, okay, 3 years going on 4. And they were like, okay, how much money did you do last year? What was your sales gross last year? And I said around $170,000. And they're like, okay. They put the numbers in. They asked, how much do I want? And I said, I don't know really. I guess I'll just put in 50, just in case. I want, because I knew we were probably going to buy 2 vehicles. And pretty much within 10 seconds, they were like, yeah, you're approved for 50. Just let us know what cars you want, and we'll get the ball rolling. Your interest rate is it fluctuated depending on which terms you pick, but as low as like 4.3 and as high as like 6 3/4 or something like that if you went to like 80 months or something ridiculous. And yeah, it was simple as that. So of course, if you've been in business longer, it's going to be much easier. But I gave you guys, a couple of what I think are reasonable solutions for if you, either just started your business or you've been in business for probably less than a year. These are solutions that, if you're in a pinch, you need to, get another truck. If you're in the pest control industry like we are, and you have to get a truck immediately, or, your whatever the situation may be, your motor blew up and you need to get a new car ASAP, whatever the case may be. This option, like I said, it can come in handy if nothing else for a good down payment, and it doesn't necessarily just completely take away your money unless if you get too out of control with this percentage per transaction. So keep that in mind and you'll be safe. So hopefully you guys did learn a little bit from this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely make sure to smash the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We try to go live or upload videos at least a couple times a week for you guys, and hope to be doing more in the future. And if you're not already in our totally free Discord group chat and Facebook group, links for that will be in the description box below as well. And we just hit 1,500 subscribers over the weekend. I want to thank you all so much for that. It's awesome just to see this community continue to grow. We've got over now 220, 230 members in the Discord group chat. We've got, I don't remember how many on our Facebook group. We just started that about a week ago. But last I checked, we were already at like 10 to 20 of you all in there as well. So love to see the community growing. Would love to have you in there. But until next time, guys, have a good one.